Hi, this is Cameron Griffin, your local real estate agent servicing Kitsap County in the state of Washington. We're here today to talk to Brooke Berry, who is a title and escrow expert, and we're going to learn a lot about the importance of title, the purpose of escrow, and the reason why both of these, even though they may not be the most interesting parts of real estate, are still very useful and very important to successfully close on a transaction and to understand the property that you're getting into.
So I am Brooke Berry. I'm local title rep to Kitsap and Jefferson County specifically. My background is title and escrow. I came from Texas and was an escrow officer in Texas for a decade, and I loved the people part of working in that role. Moved to California, became a mobile notary, saw a need for notaries that knew what they were doing and knew what it was that they were helping execute, and so did that for a time. Then when I moved up to the Pacific Northwest, I jumped right back into an escrow role. And when the sales position came available, I jumped at it because I love the people part of this business and making sure that people feel well cared for, that they understand the process, and working with our title and escrow teams to make sure that we knock it out of the park. So when we use the term title, we're referring to the vesting or the legal ownership of the property. So we're dealing with who actually owns the property and has the legal right to sell. So when we talk about title insurance is our protection for the buyer, that they legally own the property once the property is conveyed, and it protects them from any claims that come up post-closing. So the different type of policies that we issue are standard, extended, and then there's a homeowner's policy, and there are different coverages. The policy that we see issued most often is the standard policy of insurance, and those policies will basically ensure that the owner owns the property, that there's no other claim to it, that they have access to their property, that all the chain of title leading up to their ownership has been completed correctly, and that there's no other outstanding parties or claim to the property. There are extra protections with the extended policy, and that's a whole other video. But there are protections for things such as, access to the property, or perhaps a lien that wasn't dealt with, a claim or encumbrance on the property that wasn't cleared. Okay, so when you're looking at a title commitment, that's our commitment to ensure you as a buyer. It's important to read your title commitment. There are a lot of things that are important and pertinent to your enjoyment of the property. We've got on the title commitment the existing owner, that we're dealing with the right seller, the proposed insured, that's you as the buyer, the amount insured, which is the purchase price of the property, and then if there's a lender, their loan amount will be insured through the mortgagee title policy. It's got the legal description. That's important to know. We're conveying the correct property. We've got anything that carries with the property on Schedule B, such as encumbrances, easements. That could be something like a 10-foot utility easement on the property. We've got covenants, conditions, and restrictions, which we refer to as CC&Rs. They also play a part in your enjoyment of your property. If you have chickens and you want to make sure that you can have chickens on that property, those things will be in your covenants, conditions, and restrictions, or CC&Rs. You also have anything that needs to be cleared through the title and escrow process, such as a mortgage that's encumbering the property, an existing deed of trust as we call it. So through title and escrow working together, we work to clear those items that do need to be cleared, that taxes are paid, utilities that are referenced are paid as well. Okay. Those are the things that you'll be looking for in your title commitment. So escrow, it's funny, sometimes people think immediately of your escrow account with a lender, such as for paying taxes and insurance. And this is a different use of that term escrow, where essentially it's a trust account. We're holding all the funds within a real estate transaction until the time of disbursement to make sure that those funds are appropriated the way that they need to be based on the purchase and sale agreement. So we're functioning in escrow as a disinterested or neutral third party facilitating the transaction. So the escrow department will be your go-to team when handling your funds in your real estate transaction. And we do see attempts for fraud from time to time, fraudulent emails. It's important to know who the players are in your team, and you can educate your clients who will be reaching out. We reach out to them when we start the escrow process to let them know where to send their escrow funds. And we get escrow instructions from the seller to know how to disperse those funds. Things to look out for are urgent emails received 1 week before closing. We don't need your funds an entire week before closing. If there's a sense of urgency or something doesn't seem quite right, our recommendation would be to pick up the phone. Make sure that the number on that email you received matches the number under Google for our office. Just communicate, ask questions. We have put certain procedures in place for us as a company with regard to vacant land. So we have certain procedures we've put in place to try and stop the attempt of fraud. We've seen an uptick in fraud with regard to vacant land. A lot of times people aren't paying attention because it's not their primary residence. If we receive a request to open title for a vacant property, we will mail a letter to the owner of record with the county and mail them a letter to let them know that we did receive that request and to reach out to us if for any reason they believe that to be an error. So again, we're that third party facilitating this big transaction, and there's a lot of working parts. Escrow will be dealing with, the sellers, the buyers, the real estate agents on each side, lenders if they apply. And really what we're doing is we're following the purchase and sale agreement to the letter, making sure that we're meeting all the requirements and the intent of that purchase and sale agreement, along with lender instructions. So we're pulling all this information from different parties, making sure that communication is on point and that we understand what we need to be doing in that transaction. And so escrow really has a really big job. Not only are they working with all those parties, but they're working with utility companies and payoff lenders and ordering all the things that they need to order to make sure that we're clearing title and conveying it properly and that all the parts and pieces come together. So sometimes the question is this important? Do I need it? Absolutely. Big investment. It's important to protect that investment. And what's important to know about a title insurance premium is that it's just due once. And that title policy protects you for the time that you own the home. So until you decide to move on with life and sell your property, that's your protection. So I would say yes, it's important to have title insurance. So I kind of fell into this profession. I started answering phones at a law office in Texas, and within some time became an escrow officer myself, quite by accident. I enjoyed making people feel at ease in what is, probably one of the biggest transactions or purchases or sales they'll ever make in their lifetime. And so it's important that people know what they're signing and they understand the process. And so that's kind of my background. I've been an escrow officer, a mobile notary, and now as a sales rep, I kind of get to be an intermediary between all those parties. I like the people part of it. It is a big deal, and software doesn't replace people. And so, I'm the one reaching out to say, is there anything unique in your situation that we need to know about, or your client's situation that we need to know about, so that we can put them at ease and make sure that they feel confident that we're taking care of them and that they understand the process. So I'll run and do a signing at an assisted living center, or if we have a sticky divorce situation, it's kind of important to know those things. And so, I reach out to make sure that we're doing the very best that we can to be an extension of you to your clients. And that's fun. It's a good challenge.